it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to DDP Snake Pit. And of course, we couldn't do it without our Hall of Famers, Mr. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how are you, man?
Wonderful.
And of course, DDP Diamond Dallas Page. How are you, dude?
Good, man. Ready to go. This is a subject that's close to my heart on a lot of different levels. So looking forward to today's. I guess we'll. I don't want to call it Rhodes to the top, but it is the Rhodes family, and I've always considered myself a Rhodes.
I like it. Well, we're going to be talking about the Rhodes clan today, and Jake, I'm curious from your perspective, when do you first hear of Dusty?
Oh my God! The first time I heard of Dusty, I was probably 13, 14. And it was at a time my father was wrestling for Fritz Von Erich in the Dallas territory. And he wrestled Dusty. Dusty was a heel at the time. And he was hungry. And I just remember watching my dad with him and saying, "Dad, you got to watch that guy. He's a tough son of a bitch." Because at the time, I think at the time, this is before he ever hooked up with Murdoch or any of those guys, he was really hungry and he was a go-getter. And there was something special about him. Everybody knew that. You could see it, you could feel it. And you just felt like he was going to leave his mark. He did that night. He kicked the shit out of my dad.
When did you first meet Dusty as a contemporary, not necessarily as a kid in the crowd?
Right. God.
Is that Florida?
Yeah, Florida at 80. I don't know. I can't remember the year.
82,
79, 82, something like that. Somewhere in there.
According to my research, your first match against Dusty is in Florida. You were teaming with Big John Studd in a bunkhouse match on September 30th, 1982 in Jacksonville against Barry Windham and Dusty.
Yeah. I did most of the work. I'm going to say that. Studd came in occasionally. Big John was Big John, but no, I think if I remember correctly, Barry and I did most of the work.
Yeah,
but I would think Barry.
Yeah.
That was a big crew there.
Oh,
you look
man.
at Studd. Was he 6'8", 6'9"?
At least.
You're 6'6". Freaking Barry's 6'4", 6'5". And Dusty's a good 6'1", 6 foot. But that's a big crew for wrestlers in those days because you remember a lot of the guys are small.
Yeah,
but wide.
thick,
yeah,
not
really
wide.
Yeah, thick.
What about you, Dallas? When's the first time you hear of Dusty? Did you grow up a fan of his? Just tell us through, what you remember about hearing of Dusty.
My teen years, where you watch the magazine, because I'm a WWF fan, and so you get the magazines, you see this cat Dusty Rhodes, and I'm a big fan. Jimmy Valiant was someone first I was attracted to. I loved just his whole smooth brother thing that he had going on. But I also love Superstar Billy Graham. And then I hear about Dusty Rhodes and Superstar Billy Graham. And they sold the garden out I don't know how many times. And you see Dust come in, and I'd never really seen a guy who had more charisma in his pinky than most people, 5 people have. And what he was doing in between it and the way Superstar sold it and the promos.
That was the show.
I'm going to fast forward to where, I almost break my neck in WWE and I just retire. And now 2.5 years later, I'm feeling pretty good again. I want to show people what I can do at 49. So I call up Dusty and he says he's got this show he's doing in Arizona. And by this time, me and Superstar Billy Graham are talking to each other quite a bit because I found he was a big fan of mine, which is like the biggest friggin', thrill no matter what. That water tower moment never gets old, And so I'm coming to Arizona to do this match with Eric Watts. And Dust is there, and Superstar drives 90 miles up to him because we had never met. and me and him and Dusty.
Wow.
And them just telling stories, man.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So that I don't have the phone right there.
I'm jealous.
And doing that, because we didn't have this still yet, like that. It was magic, man. And them talking about how stealing, and this is what really the talking, like the confidence and the cockiness. And it's another thing as a kid that made me love Muhammad Ali. Was he not only talked the smack, he backed it up.
Yeah.
And that's what both of these guys did. And I love Superstar, but man, I really love Dusty Rhodes. So the two of them coming together and hearing that stuff when he got to the WWF, I was just like, wow, man, this guy's magic. And I kind of felt like I knew him. I really did. I finally felt like I knew him. And when you watch someone that much, you get to actually, that's why people think they know me. They think they know Jake.
Yeah.
Because they've seen us so much and they see this side of us. And now if they're watching us on this thing, it's going to make them even feel more like they know who we are because we're being ourselves now.
Yeah.
On the TV, we were ourselves jacked up, or who we wanted to invent we would be, So he became my guy, and he took the little bit of the nudge over Superstar. I never cared who won. I just wanted to see them, and it was to get to see them later. To watch it later. Like I'll just throw in a DVD once in a while, watch it. And it's like it's magical, and they're not doing anything. It's so much Shakespeare.
Yeah.
It's no bumps. And it's like the way Dusty would move his ass and his arm and he would get out of a move. Like, who could get away with that shit back then? Because it's reality based. But he could do that, So that's right. So when I finally meet him later, it's like, well, because there's this image that I have of him, and it was magical to me.
Dusty was a star all over the country, championship wrestling from Florida, the WWF, the NWA territories, eventually Jim Crockett Promotions. But Jake, you had a run with Dusty in Florida. I was able to find 15 matches in Florida between you guys and various singles and tag matches, taped fist, lights out bunkhouse, Texas bull rope, cage, Texas death match. I mean, damn. You guys went through some stuff. What can you tell us about some of these matches with Dusty way back when?
Too easy. So easy. In the tag matches, it was always Barry and I doing all the work, and Kevin Sullivan and Dusty sitting,
waiting to come in
and steal the show. Right. Which they did. We had to put the time in, but there was a magic night for me in this business. My first near-death experience, I guess, in the business, in St. Petersburg, Florida, Christmas night. And it's going to be Kevin Sullivan wrestling Dusty Rhodes. Loser leave and can't come back. So, man, all the marbles are on the line. My previous actions had caused the NWA to ban me from the building in St. Petersburg. Those bastards. How could they do that?
People bought into that shit.
So did I. I thought I had a night off. But no, I don't have a night off. I had to go to the Sportatorium there in Tampa, and they dressed me up in this ridiculous Santa Claus suit. Mm-hmm. And they take me over to St. Pete, and I've got a ticket, and I'm told, just walk through the crowd, anywhere you want to go, and up in the cheap seats, wherever, hand out candy. Yeah. And don't get recognized, because if you do, you might be in some deep shit out there alone. And, because they didn't much care for Kevin and I at all.
If you were with Kevin.
Yeah, he was a devil, and that's crazy calling him a devil with me out there. Yeah. So all night long, I go up and down those aisles and hand out candy to the kids. They take pictures with Santa and all sorts of stuff. And Dusty and them get in the ring in the cage. And at the right time, Santa makes it down to the ringside and he's handing out toys and stuff and candy. And then he steps inside the barricade and at the right time slips Kevin Sullivan something.
Candy?
No. And he hits Dusty with it. Dusty goes down, cover 1, 2, 3. Now,
that's some heat.
they had told me in the back, Jake, expect everything to happen. But don't leave the area until Kevin gets out of the cage and you guys come back together.
Fight your way back.
Okay, I got it. We'll find our way back. Okay.
Wait, so let me just explain something. Let me just throw a caveat here. Are there railings back then? Back
There's
towards
a rope.
There's ropes.
right. So anybody can get
You
through.
just step right into you. The
Right.
rope still got them.
I want people to realize that because they see railings all the time.
No. So I'm getting pummeled, punched in the back of the head and shit. And Kevin hadn't even got out of the cage. I'm going, come on, man. Jesus Christ, you're killing me. And I don't know what I was doing because I was thinking Kevin's going to be a big help. How wrong was I? Well, let me tell you. We made it around the corner. Now we got the straight shot to the back. And I'm getting punched and I'm fighting. And I look and there's no Kevin around at all. I look up the back. He's in the back already. He ducked down and just ran through him like this. I can't duck down like that. I'm not 5'5", you know. I fought my way back, but anyway, this is a water tower moment for me because I'm in the locker room and we can hear the people outside chanting, "We want Santa." It's Christmas night, you know, and the police come in and say, "We've never seen anything like this. There's got to be 400 people outside waiting for you."
Wow.
Like, well, they're not going to get what they want, you know? And to hear those people chanting, "We want Santa" and "F you Santa" and all that stuff. And then to go home that night and the next day I get up and pick up a Tampa paper and read where 8 Santa Clauses had gotten beat up the night before on the streets.
My
People
God.
riding around, they say, "Hey, there's son of a bitch," and they just go over and pummel the guy, you know? It was a great moment.
It's kind of like when you were in Mexico and the cops had to come
Yeah,
and escort you out of
Yeah.
Mexico.
yeah. That was a little more serious.
Yeah.
So
there you
It was a
really
great
dead.
time. Wrestling Barry Windham in those years, man.
He must have been smooth as silk.
Oh,
'Cause he
my
was,
God.
He was great when I wrestled him.
We
He
were
was,
out there
yeah,
and it was so
smooth.
much fun. And we were doing 40 minutes a night, man. And it was so much fun doing it, man. And I'll be forever grateful to Barry for what we did together because we were both really young at the time. And Dusty and Kevin, you know, okay, they had the money spot, but that's all right, man. I just wanted to be part of the show and to be in the ring with Dusty and to just feel him work, you know. He would get so much out of a wiggle.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
ridiculous.
God.
There's 3 clotheslines and a pile driver, and Dusty gives a wiggle and gets a pop. Are you kidding me? And it just felt so good, you know, and some of my fondest memories.
I can remember Dusty saying we were talking about him doing the independence much later in his life, just to pay bills and shit, you know. And he said, and this kid come up to me and he said, "So Dusty, I want to talk about a couple of things." He said, "All you need to know is you're gonna be in the middle and get the elbow. That's all you need to know. Talk to you out there."
Yeah, he laid that elbow up, and your job's to run into it.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't even move.
Find
Just
it.
turn it. You know?
Find it.
Yeah.
That's the old brother love thing. He would tell Bruce, "Find it, baby," and just great stuff. But you know, at this point, you know, this is early '80s, so this is before Jake the Snake is even a thing.
Right.
This is
Right.
I don't mean for this to sound the way it does, but this is just Jake Roberts. This is
Yep.
pre the explosion of Vince McMahon's
Right.
vision, and you're in there with one of the headline acts across the country. What, if anything, are you able to learn from Dusty during that time?
Oh, I learned way too much from Dusty, man. God, he just taught you how to take your time and how to get the most out of the littlest things. You know, guys have it wrong, man. It's the little things that really matter. The big things, we've seen it. But the little things that pull the fans closer to you and make them a part of you, that's what really counts, you know. And timing, his sense of timing was just off the charts. And of course, you know, getting stuff from Eddie Graham certainly didn't hurt.
Yeah, that was his guy.
Yeah.
He would talk about that all the time.
Yeah, Eddie Graham was such a mind. I mean, he may lay out a spot for you that'll be 15 minutes long, you know? And but each spot meant something. And if you missed one of them, it's like a domino effect to the rest of the spots. They're not going to fall in the right place. And that's what it taught me, to do the fine tuning stuff. You know, do the complete act, not just the big parts. You know, because completion of the thing and the build, you know, it's sort of like making love to a woman. Hopefully you won't start off with your best move. A lot of guys do, I hear.
They do, boy, I guess.
I don't understand that.
Me either.
I want that slow build.
And I want all the pops along the way.
Oh, yeah. Just a thumb shot away. You know, just keep rolling. But no, he taught you to get the most of it. And it was a night off. You know, you looked forward to it so much that when it really happened, afterwards, you're like, fuck, we didn't do anything. You know, there were no cuts, bruises, or nothing. And yet we tore the house down, so to speak. You know, the people were mesmerized by what he did. And it's just amazing.
Jake, you've told us before that you never turned heel until you went to Florida.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, in MMA, they say styles make fights. I think in wrestling, it's personalities. And
yeah,
you've heard from a booking standpoint, you know, you kind of take a sheet of paper, draw a line in the middle. Here's my baby faces. Here's my heels. Well, if you know Dusty's on the baby face side, being on the heel side ain't that bad now, right? I mean, that gives you a lot of opportunity. You
want to be the top one, you know?
Yeah.
And, if you can't be Dusty, you want to wrestle Dusty.
Right.
That's it. That's the money spot. That's the fun spot. And you're going to learn, you know, and that's what I was about then, was learning. Terry Funk came in a few times those years. And wow, it just blew my mind what he could do, you know, with the simplest of things, with the facial looks, and they all meant something. And it's almost like you could read his face and know what he was going to do. Oh my God, here he comes! You know, because you just seen.
It's like a great actor who's not saying anything, but their eyes say everything.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the pictures in their eyes. It's just like Terry Funk is a great example.
Oh God,
you know, and him and Dusty, you know, fucking that was magic. There were so many guys Dusty was magical with, Flair, and Funk would be, you know, at the top. Sullivan, you know, those would be at the top of the list, you know.
I have a real. Do you think we have time to tell a little story here?
Please do. Yeah.
Go for that, man. We got time.
Let me tell you what happened. Angelo Mosca came in. Now, I don't know if you've ever been around Angelo, but Angelo was not a nice man. He wanted to prick you and then pick at the sore, you know, just aggravation shit. You know, of course, he played football for Notre Dame, an All-American, and offensive guard, I think, or maybe tackle. Can't remember. Anyway, he's supposed to be some badass. Well, he gets in the car with Terry and I, and we got a 90-mile trip back to Tampa from Orlando.
Terry who?
Funk.
Oh, Funk. Okay.
And we get a case of beer for the trip. And we no more get in the car than Angelo starts needling Terry about his college's football team.
Oh, boy.
West Texas State.
Yeah.
Well, that year, West Texas State had lost 9 games in a row.
Hmm.
And that's all Angelo needed. He went after Terry. And he kept talking shit. And Terry's like, come on, Angelo, that's enough.
That's good.
I can't take, just stop it. You're starting to piss me off, Angelo. And at the time, Mosca was wearing the football helmet gimmick. It's where he had it in his back seat. And Terry turned around and he goes, Angelo, tell me one thing, you big bastard. How come if you were so fucking good at Notre Dame, why couldn't you make it in the NFL? Oh, my God. Because Angelo didn't make it in the NFL. He had to go to Canadian football.
I think the NFL.
So when Terry said that, that fucking pissed Angelo off, and he grabbed his football helmet and just fucking knocked the shit out of Terry in the head. I'm driving this fucking Lincoln. What the fuck, man? Holy shit. And Terry's like, oh, God damn, Angelo, that fucking hurt me. Oh, my God. Oh, my, I wish my brother was here. He'd kick your ass. Oh, Jesus. He's selling. But at the same time, he's taking off his ring. He's getting off his watch. Jake, please hold my watch, my ring. Don't lose that ring. My father gave me that ring. I love my father. So anyway, so what are you going to do, Terry? He goes, I'm going to crawl back there and beat the fucking shit out of him. Well, let me pull over. No, there's no need to. It won't take long. And he crawls over in the back seat and puts a whipping on fucking Mosca. Mosca weighs him by 80 pounds. But Terry was on him like a man. Pop, pop, pop. Crawls back in the front seat. Hand me my beer. I hand it to him. Here's your, oh, thank you. Oh, my ring. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you to hold my ring. And I'm like, holy fuck, what has just happened? You know, because he took the helmet away from Angelo and hit Angelo. See how that feels, Angie? You know, and I'm like, holy shit, this is not, oh my God. So by the time we get back to Tampa, it's forgotten, I think. So we go to a bar called Robocani's, and I'm out chasing skirts, believe it or not. And Terry and Angelo are standing at the bar just talking to each other and patting each other on the back and telling each other how good they are and all that stuff. And I keep watching and I noticed that Terry isn't going to the bathroom. Mosca's went to the restroom 4 times. But Terry must have the most unbelievable bladder. I pick up these little things, fine-tune stuff. But then Angelo comes back, and I see what's happening. Terry reaches down and unzips his pants, pulls his yang out. He's pissing on Mosca and patting him on the back at the same time, telling him, Mosca, you're a great big son of a bitch. And he's peeing all over Mosca's legs, and Mosca don't even know it. Before the night was over, they wound up on the dance floor dancing together with the football helmet on. And then it got really fun. Because from there, I dropped Mosca off, and Terry and I were going to share a room, and we went to the hotel room. And I'm getting undressed and getting in the bed. And Terry's like, Jake, I need to call my wife. What time is it? 3:30. Oh my God, she's gonna know I'm drunk. Holy, do you think she'll hear it in my voice? Terry, you're fucking trash, man. Don't call her. Oh no, I gotta call her. I promised I'd call her. So he sits and he starts to get the phone and he starts dialing the phone. And just before he says hello, he hiccups and he slams the phone down. I can't call her now because I've got the hiccups and she'll know I'm drunk. I'm like, oh my God. So he hiccups around the room. I tell him, well, just hold your breath, man. What the fuck, you know? I can't stop, Jake. It's going to kill me. I tell you, it's going to kill me. And he staggers into the bathroom. I'm laying there going, my God, why this is so fucking crazy. And all of a sudden I hear this blood-curdling scream. Well, fuck, I jump up. I think Terry sliced his wrist or something. I don't know. And he opens the door and he comes out and says, what the fuck, what's wrong with you? He goes, nothing. I was trying to scare myself. The fuck, man? Are you serious? And he was serious. That was a good time.
Great time.
That was a great time.
We've had a lot of fun talking about the good old days of professional wrestling, and more often what we talk about are these stories and less about the matches. Dallas, you branded yourself the people's champ, and it worked because you were. I mean, people believed in you, and they believed in Dusty the same way. He may have actually been the first people's champ. How can you explain his charisma to a wrestling audience, DDP? I'm curious because, you know, we hear a lot of times, hey, I don't know what it is, but that guy has it. Well, whatever it was dripping off of Dusty. Can you try to contextualize his wrestling charisma or charisma to a wrestling audience?
Good luck.
Yeah, not really. But what I can say is commitment.
Yeah.
When you've got the commitment, and it goes from acting to what we do, because this is a form of acting. And and a lot of times when you're like someone like Dusty or Jake, or myself, sometimes you're just riffing, you know, because you're in that moment of that interview, and you could, just like I do when I'm talking, I'm making a point, and then I go to the left, to the right, come back to the point. You know, Dusty had just such a way of making you feel what he felt. And he had fun while he's doing it. And that, I think, is the biggest thing, especially if you're a character like Dusty Rhodes was. He's having fun with it. You know, Dusty once told me, and Cody and I were talking about this the other day, that, you know, he wanted to die in the ring. Like, his life would have been complete because that's what he loved. And when he was out there and he was cutting those promos and would get people emotionally involved, and he could take it really high, or he could come down low where Jake was, you know, and then he could take it right back up high again. The thing was, he was having so much fun while he was doing it. Sometimes he'd crack himself up, you know, in the middle of stuff. And again, that's what people love. You know, they love that the person's really invested in it because they want to believe. Especially in his day. You know, what Jake came up through and everything, people wanted to believe, and they wanted to live their life vicariously through you. And that's another part of the charisma that people get attached to, because you're doing what they want to do, and they don't think they'll ever be able to do it. And it's that old line of, you think you can and you think you can't, you're right. You know, Henry Ford said that.
Yeah.
What the hell did he ever do? You know, it's like, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, he just had so much of it because he believed he was Elvis. And I would always say he's a combination of John Wayne meets Elvis. And he would call himself Elvis.
With Ollie mixed in.
You know, and all of it. It was a little piece of everybody. And he made his own Dusty Rhodes. And again, you know, I remember the very famous promo, God, what the hell is the name of it? My hand on your hand. And what is the name of it?
Hard Times.
Hard Times. I ain't got a pretty body, and I'm a little bit fat, but I'm a bad man. You know, whatever he said along that line. Because he exposed, like, no, I ain't got the best body, and I may shake my booty. And he would shake it, and people would pop. You know,
Loved it.
They loved it, you know. And The Rock with I never dubbed myself the People's Champion. It was Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone who did that. But Rock took that and he took it to a different spot. But he also had the People's Elbow. That's American Dream.
The People's Eyebrow.
Yeah, the People's Eyebrow.
Roberts.
Jake Roberts. You know, it's like he took all the best things of all the guys that came before him. Mm-hmm. And he did it at a great level. You know, look at him today. Talk about a guy with it factor. He's the biggest star in the world. And to me, it's the greatest compliment in the world that one of us, one of our guys, who's been to the top of the ladder, is the biggest star in the world, and now John Cena's killing it and Batista's killing it.
Yeah.
My show out there on Netflix, Guardians of Justice, getting really great reviews, from people.
Look out, it's coming.
It's it's super cool just to be involved in that group of guys, that are out there making things happen in this world. But it starts with that it factor, and we all watch Dusty, so we all took something from Dusty.
Oh, yeah.
All of us,
I've always said there's nothing new anymore, so you got to know where to steal your shit
and make it your own.
Absolutely.
That promo, the Hard Times thing, what I liked about that
fell off.
Say again.
What I liked about that Dusty promo that you were talking about, the Hard Times, is he preemptively overcame the objections for his success. It's sort of like, hey, if you grew up a fat kid, you learned, hey, if I make the fat joke, it means it holds no water with anybody else. I'll just do it myself. And the promo you're talking about, my belly may be a little big, my honey may be a little big, but brother, I'm bad, and they know I'm bad. And it was so like, okay, well, we can't poke fun at that because he just told us, despite of all that.
And then power.
Yes, exactly. He just stripped it away and made it his now. And Dusty was so fascinating because he had this incredible ability to perform in front of the camera, but really create magic behind the camera. And of course, when he leaves Jim Crockett Promotions and he tries to do his own thing in Florida, which we've touched on before with you, Dallas, in the past, he winds up going to the WWF. And it's funny how so many of these characters run parallel with you guys. Jake, you may not even realize this, but Dusty's first match back with Vince was May 29th, 1989, Montreal, Quebec. And he's going to be taking on Ted DiBiase. You were advertised to take on Ted DiBiase. You were not on that match. Instead, it wound up being Dusty Rhodes. That to me is just fascinating to think that Dusty's first match back is substituting Jake Roberts. How about that?
Well, I was trying to give the kid a break,
Well, I made everybody laugh here.
I was probably institutionalized at the time, more than likely.
Okay. Chat me up about your perspective, Jake, because you had known Dusty, the megastar, pre-WWF.
Yeah.
But you had also known that he had been in a bitter war because you were on Vince's side of that war when it was the WWF versus Jim Crockett Promotions. Now he comes north, and a lot of people over the years have said, the polka dots were a rib.
They were waiting, brother.
Okay, tell me about it.
They were waiting, and they were waiting for Dusty to fail.
Okay.
And for me, it was fun because I knew one thing for damn sure. He ain't fucking failing nothing.
Right.
You can dress him up in polka dots if you want. They swerved Dusty. He was supposed to have had a couple of hot blondes take him to the ring. Instead, they give him a short little black lady, and they made it work.
They got it over, man.
They got that shit over, man. But I knew that was going to happen. So I'm sitting back going, yeah, go ahead and talk shit, guys. You watch this motherfucker fly by you. And that's what he did. He flew right back to the top. Dressed him up in, polka dots and shit and put him out there in an impossible situation. He's going to do a wiggle. He's going to do a twist. And he's doing a little plumber's son bullshit. And everybody's going to jump on board. And by God, that's what happened. And it was so good for me because I knew that Vince, in his cruel ways, he wants to see you fail. He wants to humiliate you. And he couldn't do that to Dusty. And he couldn't do it to me.
So you felt like it was a rib for sure.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You don't put polka dots on John Wayne meets Elvis.
No.
You just don't. But again, he got it over.
Made it happen.
And the fans who saw it, they loved it.
Yeah.
So maybe inside Vince got a little bit of genius on that side of it. You know what I mean?
Well,
part of it's ripped. I'm just saying what it is because if someone else can get it over, And what was really interesting is right before that, I was working with Dusty in Florida Championship Wrestling. That's how I met him. I got a call from Mike Graham and I had strep throat and I was supposed to leave it, get up at 6 o'clock because I had an 8 o'clock flight for AWA. And it was the only time I'd ever gone up there. It was like a Friday night for a weekend show. I would normally come in and do one taping for AWA and do 4 shows. And that they had a whole month that would be on ESPN. And Mike Grant called, and I heard it on the machine, and I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hey, Mike, I got strep throat. He goes, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm hitting there with Dusty Rhodes. We just went through a case of beer. We just opened up the Jack, and we're toasting a few. So I want you to get on the phone with them. I want you to take Dusty and treat him like the biggest mark in the world. I go, Dusty Rhodes? I go, Mike, I got nothing planned. I've got strep throat. And he's like, I go, give him the VCR tape. I said, you play that? He goes, my machine's broken. You're up. And I just went, good God, Dusty Rhodes, the Tower Power, the man of the hour. I mean, I did him, I did Albano, I did myself, all of like 35 seconds, and got to the end of it. And I said, that's all I got, Dusty. I got strep throat. Hello? Dusty? It felt like it was 5 minutes. It was probably about 20 seconds, him just ribbing me and not saying anything. And then he said, well, that a recording, kid. And, I said, oh, that was me. And he brought me up, and he met with me, and he wanted to know, who I was. So I told him. And I basically also told him that I'm not going to leave my night job, running my nightclub, to make $200 as a manager, because they had just come back and they're going to pop Florida, because just a couple of years before, Dusty could sell out like that.
Yeah.
Well, the tides had changed. The platforms had changed. And we never really got that back. That's why Dusty left and went to New York, because he needed to make money again. And he wasn't making any money down there in Florida. I'm sure he was investing some as well. But what really happened for me was I built a real relationship with him over that year, because I would come up there once a week to do TV and then drive right back for $50 to Fort Myers. So I was, driving 137 miles, do the show, and then come back and work at the club that night. And
you got to stop at the bank and deposit your money.
Yeah, my $50. It cost me $38 in my Corvette and gas to get back and forth. But I was, at school with him. And then I would come up on Thursdays, and I would get in the ring once in a while just to see what the bumps felt like, so I could really talk about it, as a color commentator, because that's what he put me on, as a color commentator. And in the beginning, I was like, Dusty, I don't want to say I can't do something, but I don't know a wrist lock for a wristwatch. I don't see how I could really add there. And he was like, don't worry about it, kid. Gordon Foley going to walk you through it all. So I got to work with the dean, and, I was there for 2.5 years. Dusty was there for about a year. And then he left and did the polka dot thing. And eventually he came back to WCW. And because we had a relationship that was really strong, I could call him and he'd call me back, mainly because of Cody's mom, Michelle. She would make sure that he called me back. And, we'd always talk. We had a relationship, and, eventually brought me in, WCW.
I don't mean to backtrack, but I am curious, Jake. I mean, you didn't even hesitate when I said, do you think the polka dots for a rib? You're like, oh, yeah. But at the same time, before you got there was once upon a time that Jake the Snake Roberts would have never dreamed of wearing lime neon pants and carrying it down. I'm scared of snakes. That feels like a rib. Wait, I'm scared of snakes. I ain't carrying that. I ain't putting me in pink tights. I ain't doing that. That's a rib, but you got it over. And Dusty got it over. I think it went back to marketing. I mean, Coco Beware, when he's in Memphis, he ain't bringing out a fucking bird, but he knew we got to have something to sell to kids. We need gimmicks. And he brought these big colors, and he made Big Bubba, the badass who just mean mugged Dusty with a wooden chair still around his neck. No, now you're a corrections officer. What? But somehow it worked. So I don't think, I'm not sold on it being a rib. I think the rib is on the fans who think it was a rib to me, because you made pink tights work and carrying a snake work, and Coco made a damn bird work. So yeah, Dusty can make polka dots.
Rooster.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there are exceptions, I guess.
Okay. And let's not forget the great big turkey egg that Andre came out of. Gobbledygooker or whatever.
Well, that wasn't on. That was Hector. He was trying. Now, listen, I get that didn't work. But if you go back in time, like the Philly Fanatic is still over like Rover.
Right.
Like, there is something to a mascot to keep the crowd going and get the little kids excited. And I get that. And, WCW tried Wildcat Willie, but we don't shit on that one. We do the Gobbledygooker, but it's the same thing. We need a mascot. So I get it. But the polka dots, I'm not sure was a rib. Like, you were just automatic. Okay, I believe you. You were there.
I gotta believe it was a rib, but also, and not to agree with Jake here, but I believe it was a rib. But let's see, again, it's another way for us to create something that's a different. I mean, that action figure today, action figure, that's like $1,500.
Yeah.
If you can find that action figure.
Yeah.
From the old school days. So if you got it at home, that's worth a lot of money.
Over my shoulder, there it is. Those are Dusty's polka dot boots that he wore in the WWF. That was my first introduction to Dusty. I loved that version of Dusty as a kid. I had that action figure. I bought it in Boaz, Alabama. I remember it because it was like, oh my God, here it is. Because I dug it. So I, at the time, would have never assumed, I didn't know what a rib was back then, besides the one in Applebee's, but you know what I mean? I just would have never imagined it was a rib. And then I get a little older and everybody's like, oh, it wasn't supposed to work. And I'm thinking, they got dudes bringing snakes and bulldogs and birds to the ring, and that's a rib? Hell, put me in polka dots. I don't want the snake.
Yeah, no shit.
I get it. And again, like I said, I didn't say I don't agree with Jake. And part of it, me says, well, maybe you thought it would, it would have been marketing.
Yeah.
Because everything was in marketing. And maybe it wasn't even Vince's idea. Maybe it was someone who came from marketing and said, why don't we do this?
Right.
But when you got them doing cleaning toilets and shit, that, the plumber's son thing, it only went so far to me.
So let's talk about the next Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes. He actually pops up in the WWF there for a little bit, Jake, while you're still there. And boy, he made quite the impression. I mean, right away, a lot of people were thinking this guy is going to have a big future. I mean, once upon a time, Bruce Pritchard even said that it was discussed. What if Dustin was to take on Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania? He could have been like the next guy because people knew Dusty Rhodes and knew that legacy and knew that history. And of course, it didn't work out. But what was your first impression of Dustin Rhodes, Jake?
Oh, it was just mind fucked me. That character was
not Gold Dust now. I'm saying when he's just the white meat baby face son.
Oh,
of
okay.
Dusty.
The natural.
Okay, the natural. Yeah. He was just a class act, man, and worked his ass off, and he could move, man. Dustin could move, and he was smooth, of course.
A lot like Barry.
Yeah, a lot like Barry. Absolutely. And he was your worker's worker. He could go out there with anybody and have a great match. But sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes
you're too good and it becomes your job to make other guys look good.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
The first time I met him, he's 18 years old in Florida Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
And that's where he breaks in. That's where I met Scott Hall. That's where I met a lot of the guys, Johnny Ace, Johnny Laurinaitis. But back then, even at 18, he was really smooth.
Yeah.
Like and Dusty had dubbed him the natural down there, and that really was true. He was a natural. And back then, and this is why I loved the Gold Dust. Wasn't crazy about it when I first saw it. But when I saw what he pulled off with it, in the back, his Terry Funk's as good as Jake's. He could do his own man. Like, if they ever do a movie on my life, Dusty's in it, he's playing him. Because he could do his own man ridiculously, like spot on. But he could do everybody. He could do everybody's personality in the back. He was unbelievable.
Very talented. Still is.
Yeah, but that's why I love, we get the Gold Dust was that reason, because he was magic.
So you actually start working with him in March of 92. Dallas, I see you team with Cactus Jack here to take on Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. Barry Windham is a constant in all these stories. And you wind up working with Dustin a lot in 92, including a 14-minute match on Saturday night. Now, I know these days people have an impression of WCW Saturday Night as the quote-unquote B show, but that was not the case in 92. That was the A show. That was pre-Nitro. And to have a 14-minute match was a big deal for you in 92 on TV.
Huge.
But a huge deal for a very young Dustin as well. Any memories of that?
Just like there's certain guys that I just loved working with. Again, we had that relationship from him, from 4 years before, or 3 years, that was 3 years before. And he knew how green I was. And he worked with me. And for me to go 14 minutes at that time, that was a long time for me to be out there, at that in 92. I just loved there's certain guys who he was a lot like Canyon to me, like who I felt like I could just lock up and move with. And as long as he was leading the dance, I'm good to go, back then. And he took care of me. And I got to be the heel that I was trying to be out there with him. And again, to get that much time on a Saturday night, that was a big deal.
So, Dallas, I'm curious about when you're working in WCW in 1992. Dusty had just come in 91, and he finished up at the Royal Rumble in 91, and then he's back in WCW. And, it's a little weird because we're easing the Jim Herd era out. It's not quite yet when Bill Watts is in here. But from your perspective, had Dusty changed from the first time you talked to him down when he's trying to launch his Florida deal, to now you're in WCW and he's got a little bit of power within WCW? Do you guys still have the same relationship, or has it changed?
Better. Every day, better. Like when I first got there, Dusty put me in booking meetings, because you got to remember, when I was in Florida, he had me, producing interviews, and he had, I wasn't just the color commentator or the manager. I was doing all the stuff in the back. He would bring me into the production meeting and was grooming me, teaching me to be a booker down the line,
right?
Because he took me under his wing. He was like my big brother, and sometimes he was like my old man, and the bottom line is that as we went through this journey, now I'm in WCW, and he's got me in the booking meetings, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm in here, and he's asking my opinion, and I'm giving it to him because I don't know any better. I have no idea the heat I'm getting for voicing my opinion.
This fucker, you.
Exactly, man. Jealousy. I did not realize the heat that I was getting. Oh man. But I did, I just kind of blew it off. Ignorance was bliss to a certain degree. Some of it I didn't know about. I find about it later. But I got to produce, people's interviews and do all that stuff. And so as when they won't let me manage anymore, they would put me in production, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to wrestle. And when I went down there, it was like bless his heart. No one gave it a second thought.
Right.
So just being down there and being put on TV, and within a year, not even a year, for you to be able to do, I don't know how many months I was in at that point as a wrestler. Really wasn't that many. If you look back at that time, to go 14 minutes with someone like Dustin, who was only in business 4 years, but again, he was a natural. For me to be able to do that was a big deal. You know?
So, Jake, I'm curious, not to get totally sidebarred here, but if Bill Watts wasn't ultimately in control and Dusty was, would you have left WCW, or would that have been a totally different experience?
A totally different experience. Yeah. I'm trying to be nice right now.
I get it. Well, let's talk about Goldust. You assumed a minute ago I was asking about Goldust. Let's circle back.
Sorry, that slipped out. I went to say something else.
What did you think of Goldust? I mean, you have explored some different characters and maybe the
I love
darker
that
side.
character. I love that character. I love that character. He did a phenomenal job, you know, and sometimes you got to be careful when you're playing characters because you can let yourself become part of that character. And I think for a while there, Dustin was flirting with disaster, you know, and it may have even caused him some problems. I don't know. But that character was done so well. You know, he carried it off, not just to here, but to here. You know, and just it was mesmerizing for me just to watch.
And it was a tough time in the beginning to do that.
Oh, God.
In the beginning, you know, really tough time. But he, like, again.
Yeah, he kissed Ahmed Johnson.
Dude.
That's a tough time.
He was committed at a different level.
Yeah.
You know,
he was going to make it work to beyond all expectations. You know, I think Pat Patterson and stuff, they were working with that, and it was a great idea. I mean, just, you know, at the time, Vince loved vignettes, man. He loved to make them vignettes because you could explore a character in them, and that's what he did. You know, he used the vignettes to get Goldust started, and people loved the fact that it was the natural becoming Goldust. The fans did. They thought that was very interesting, and what happened, and all the bullshit that went around, man. At the time, there were people talking rumors of Dusty and Dustin had gotten into a fight. No, it's just crazy shit. That he was doing this to slap his dad in the face and all this crap, man, that flew around at the time. So that's not true. You know, they just did a character, man, and they went with it. You know, let's face it, you want to get to the big show and a guy offers you, you're going to carry a snake and wear lime green and purple tights. Damn right I am. You know, I'm not John Wayne yet, and I can't tell you what I will and won't do. But when you're given that opportunity, you've got to take your tools and go to work. Because the bottom line is you still got to work at it. And you got to make it believable. You got to make the people believe that that's who you believe you are.
Right.
So that's the key. I mean, that is literally the key. That's why Ric Flair got over so unbelievably and is still probably more over today than he's ever been. You know, because he lived the gimmick and still does. Yeah. You know, he's so loved by so many people. When you can say, yo, give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! You know, when you got teammates doing that who didn't watch him wrestle, they just know who he was. Yeah. You know, and caught pieces of it, you know. So that's called living it, man, and making people get behind it. So Dallas, I asked Jake earlier if he thought the polka dots were a rib. Was the Goldust character a rib? No, I don't really think so. In the beginning, I kind of did a little bit because of the Stardust. I kind of did a little bit. But then I saw the commitment that not only Dustin was putting in, but Vince was putting in. Yeah. Like when he gets behind something, that's a lot of money spent. That's not a rip, you know. And again, I think Vince in the beginning giving you that when you started to spend the money and do the vignettes the way they do it, the way they set that was the smartest way to bring everybody in. I don't know why that ever changed anywhere about anything, because that was just a really great way to build people caring or wondering or interest in the character. Intro. And he put that in, and then Dustin went out there and was committed to it, like I said earlier, and like really committed to it. And that's a redneck cowboy. Like that's who he is. But he can play that character. Like I told you in the back, he could be anybody. Mm-hmm. He could play anybody. So he'd been doing that for so long. So what he's going to do? He's going to go out there and quote things from different movies. He's going to nail it because that was his commitment that he put into it. And then I realized that's not, this is not a rib at all. It's like Vince is really pushing this, and it got pushed to a point to where I can't remember what pulled it back, but there was something that had to do with, I can't remember at the time, to be perfectly honest, but it got a hell of a run. And today If he showed up there, place to go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you really know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was with Hulk before he went out where were we in? I want to say it was Montreal. And it was the first time he had been coming back with the NWO thing, to WWF or WWE, so WWF at the time. But he has second guessing. Elvis Presley second guessed himself. But, I think I know no matter what now, if I walk out on an AEW, I don't care what arena I'm in, I'm going to get that reaction. He's going to get that reaction. Goldust is going to get that reaction. Cody's going to, I don't know about that there. Cody's going to get an unbelievable reaction wherever he ends up. That's going to be what happens because there's a certain level you get to, and then you're just there. And wrestling fans, even if they don't, the network was the greatest thing to happen to us. Mainly, we didn't make any money off it, but we did because it's like put us on a different level. It's kind of like what happened with classic rock. Like classic rock came back because everybody loved that music. And how many bands got a whole new run from the Eagles on out?
Yeah.
The Eagles still today, with some of the guys being gone from the band because they're gone, they passed on, they still sell out everywhere.
Yep.
Rolling
Arenas,
Stones,
rolling
Jack-
stadiums.
Yeah.
Running across the stadium. God damn it. I'm glad he's not in a wheelchair. I can't wait for that show. Him zipping across the stage in a wheelchair, still singing.
I don't think he ever will, only because if you look at you ever see his body, and he's in his 70s, that sumbitch is ripped. His old man was a fitness guy, and he was raised like that. So he partied his ass off over the time, but he always stayed in shape. He always put the work in, Mick. So I don't think you've ever seen it, but you might.
Oh, well.
You might.
So, Jake,
Damn it, there went my bubble.
Dallas brought it up. When did you first meet Cody?
I didn't meet Cody until
2018?
AEW.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I'd seen bits here and there. I'd seen him as Stardust, and I remember seeing him with a horrible mustache. That was the worst mustache I've ever seen. It just didn't work for him. That porn mustache did not work for him.
I'll tell you what does, though. I just saw him the other day, and he's got the mustache with like a scraggly goatee type.
Goatee, yeah.
Looks really cool. It looks, I forgot to tell him that, but it looks really good on him. I hope he keeps it wherever he goes.
So you have a different relationship with Cody, though, Dallas. When did you first meet Cody?
Oh, God. Probably when he was about 10. And one of his favorite stories is he comes downstairs. It's August. And he comes downstairs. He's 12 years old. And he hears me and his old man laughing. And when he gets to the bottom of the stairs, we're both smoking cigars. And I've got that coyote jacket on. It's 90 degrees outside.
But you're cool.
But Dusty had just given me that coat. And I love that coat, man, because I seen him in Magnum in a picture of them guys wearing it. And I was like, Dream, please sell me that coat. Please sell me that coat. Please. I'd ask him all the time, please sell me that coat. And then eventually he just gave it to me. And it was magic. That was a great day. Because what I would do is come over and we'd always, spend time together every couple of months. And we talk about, and I will remember at that point, I want to say that was around me and Johnny B. Bad time. We had gone through that little run that we did. And he was like, he couldn't believe, because he wasn't in power at that time. And he was taken out, like say Eric Bischoff's like, sent him out the pasture, which meant that I love Dusty. And I think he's really a genius, but not the genius I want right now. Consolari, they're still going to pay him because they don't want Vince to take him and then him come up with something that friggin' shifts the tide, or puts anything more on them. But so it gave him so much more time for me. I could call Dusty any time. And so there was a lot of times where I was seriously frustrated, man. And I told this story a lot, but because it's a Rhodes episode, I got to tell it. There was one time where I was so pissed off and aggravated about the booking committee not giving me the opportunity, to keep me. And I didn't expect to be the world champion. I didn't expect to be a Hall of Famer. I wanted, like, Jake's spot that Jake had and Rick Rude had was, when they came out there, I don't give a shit if it's Hulk Hogan or who is out there. You did not know who was going to win. That was that element of doubt of not knowing, as opposed to, oh, we know who's going over here.
Right.
And that's really all I really wanted at that time. And I said, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. I know I'm never going to be the world champion, but those sons of Betty went, Dennis, enough. What did you just say? Now I feel kind of stupid, like I say, well, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick. No, D, what did you say after that? I said, well, I know I'm never going to be the world champion. He said, then what the fuck are you doing it for? Dallas, he was pissed. He said, if you don't think as hard as you work, as far as you've come, if you don't think you're going to be the world champion, you need to get the fuck out of our business right now. And I normally say hell there, but this is our show, and I say exactly what he really said, because he was mad. And I felt like he just reached through the phone and bitch slapped me, man. And, freaking, he kept rolling. And he was mad. And I can't tell you a thing he said after that, but I tell you exactly what I did. And it was a pad next to the phone. And I pulled that pad over and I wrote on it, I will be the world champion in 5 years or less. And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days. When I step in the ring in a four-way dance with Rick and Hulk and the franchise, the Stinger. And I'm telling that story on Cameo for people who want to be inspired. It's like, believe in yourself. You have, because Dusty, that's what that was all about. Dusty telling me, you have to believe. If you don't believe, no one will believe.
You can't believe.
And he said the same thing to me before, but this was a moment that, it's so crazy when I do those cameos. One day I'm doing them and I realize, oh my God. I said to him 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days earlier, I know I'm never going to be Rick. I know I'm never going to be Hulk. I know I'm never going to be you. Yet 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days later, I step in the ring with Rick and Hulk. And Dusty's not wrestling anymore. Oh, so let's replace him with the franchise. The Stinger.
And Randy Savage. They're all in there.
And Randy Savage as the guest referee.
Yeah.
Like, that was like the beginning. I always tell people about manifesting dreams into reality. Like, this is something I thought about. Like, I'll tell you every day from that day forward. And that was my focus on top of focuses. And it was because of what Dusty said to me and made me believe in myself more. That's the power that the dream had with me. Just like he's had the same power.
So we can't talk about the Rhodes story and not talk about, what Dusty did outside of the ring after his in-ring days were up. Of course, he was critical in helping getting over the NWO angle for WCW on commentary. But then behind the scenes, boy, he really took developmental under his wing. And there's so many stars that we see on TV today who grew up as quote unquote one of Dusty's kids in their formative years in wrestling. And then, man, it doesn't feel like it, but I guess it was almost 7 years ago we lost Dusty Rhodes. What a blow that was to professional wrestling, because you just assume, or you hope, in your mind, that a guy and a character and a persona like this, Dusty, will live forever. And I guess he will now through Cody and Dustin. But what did Dusty's passing mean to you, Dallas?
It's funny because, well, not funny, but my dad passed on Christmas. And my old man was a good guy, but he was my role model for what not to do. The bad decisions and so many things. And it hurt. you know, of course, anybody's parents. But when Dusty went, whoo, it was way bigger than that to me. And it was like you pulled the rug out. And I was 7 years, you know, we still feel it. And I was in the airport and I heard that. And I just sat down. And he had told me this many times, Dustin. But Cody told me, it is so funny because Cody calls him Dusty just like we do.
Right.
Most of the time. And he said, my dad wanted you, he said, Dusty wanted you to know that he had 5 friends. You could count them on one hand. And there are guys who have fallen off that list and been able to pop back up again. He said, some never come back up. He said, Dallas has never been off that list. You know, and I know because he had said it to me in real life. But to hear Cody say it, super special.
Yeah.
So it meant a lot, you know. And I knew he was not in good shape. And Jake was going to induct me because I went into the Hall of Fame or the ring circle of honor for which was a huge Cauliflower Alley club. That was the first guys to induct me. It really meant a lot, and got the call from those guys. And I was going to be the first guy that was going to go in as not just first they told me as the humanitarian award. And they're really putting that over. And at some point I go, what about my wrestling? He goes, oh no, you're going in for that too. Because I've always, I've known that, I knew a long time ago that eventually what I'm doing today is going to overshadow my wrestling career. And, you know, I was like, I would love to go into the humanitarian, but I was really happy that they were going to put me in for the wrestling too. And Jake was going to do the humanitarian, and Dusty was going to do the wrestler. And I got a call from Shelly, and she was like, he wants to be there, but, you know, he can't. I was like, no worries, you know, because I knew he wanted to be there, but he couldn't. And I knew it wasn't going to be long. So I was like, at least a little prepared.
Dallas, you know the Rhodes family really, really well. Let's go back a few years. Let's not talk about present day. It is what it is. It'll all play out how it does. But how proud would Dusty have been at Cody helping create AEW and just the phenomenon that was All In? And then, man, the snowball just got bigger and bigger. And then this new company, I can't imagine how proud Dusty would have been.
I can't even imagine. And he would have been there through all of it too, you know? And one of the things that was really important to Cody, because our relationship, it started when he was 12, 13, 14. I'll never forget when he was 14 years old. And I said, so, you know, I always called him Young Buck back then. Always. Just really weird. I know, because of what ended up happening. But back then, I always used to call him Young Buck. And Dusty had asked me to come in because he coached with Cody and football and, you know, whatever he was doing, Dusty was there. And I said, so Young Buck, I was at Dusty's turnbuckle place getting ready to get in the ring. I don't want to say it's around the time I was going to WWE. And I just wanted to get in the ring and start, you know, knock some rust off. And I said, so when you start football? I said, I'm not playing this year. I'm going to focus on wrestling. I go, what? You love football. What do you mean you're not playing football? I said, yeah, you know, I'm really want to focus on wrestling next year. Not this year, but next year, my junior year, I'm going to win the state championship. I was like, wow, that's a bold statement. And he said, yeah, well, you know, I'm going to put the work in. I said, that's what it's going to take. And then at some point I leave and I go to LA his junior year, and I hear that, you know, he's 11-0. So I call him up. Hey, young buck, blah, blah, blah. How you doing? Good. Oh man, great. Doing great. And, you know, 11-0. And I call him at 20-0 and 30-0. And I'm 30-0. I say to him, yo, young buck, how you doing? Oh my God, D, you know, you just don't know. I mean, I just did a whole thing on, on ESPN News, and they're doing an article with me and my dad, blah, blah, blah. I go, well, calm down, young buck. I might have an idea. You know, I think I was a 3-time world champion. He goes, oh, come on, D. I don't mean that. I don't mean like that. I go, listen, I'm just busting your chops. I go, just keep your feet on the ground, man. You know, because down the line, you know, right now you got bullseye on your back, 30-0. Like, I'll tell you what, you get to the state championships, you get to state finals, I'll be there. He's like, seriously? You'll come back from LA? I said, I'll be there. Bottom line is I booked my ticket right then.
Right.
Got there, watched him go 48-0 and win state championship. So the next year, he's 12-0, and then he loses. And I call him up. I know already, you know, hey, young buck, how you doing? Oh, Dallas, I lost. I fucking lost. I go, thank God. What? What would you say that for? I go, Cody, you think you learn from winning? You don't learn shit from winning. You learn from losing, falling down, making mistakes. I go, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have met this guy in the quarterfinals, been 44-0, and he beat you then? Hell no. I go, exactly. I said, what did you learn from this? And he told me. And one of the things that he would learn over the course of this next state championship run, nobody wanted to get pinned by Cody Rhodes.
Right.
So that's all they cared about. They didn't care about points. They didn't care about shit. They just weren't getting pinned. And once he realized that, he'd take him down, he'd ride him, and he'd get up and let him up. And then he'd take him down and ride him, and then he'd let him up. By the third or fourth down, they're gassed. And he'd pin him. Boom, done. So I said, this kid, he thinks he beat you. He don't know you. I said, just keep doing what you're doing. Everything's going to work out. I'll see you at the state finals. And went all the way through it. I got there. He faced that kid in the finals and ate him alive.
Awesome.
And because he won the state championship, I flew him out to LA to stay with me for a week. And over that week, I took him to Rob Zombie's party. I took him to the set when Terry Crews was on. It was called something Plane. The one Snoop Dogg did.
Soul Plane?
What's it called?
Soul Plane?
Yeah, right. It was that, and I introduced him to Terry Crews. We took pictures of him and one of the actresses there. And I told him, I said, keep an eye on this guy. He's going to be huge. Look at Terry Crews today.
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest stars in the world, can do anything. The bottom line is when he left Vince and when he was at WWE, and I don't know what he was making there, but that spot he was in, knowing the business, I'm saying it's worth probably $500,000, $450,000, $500,000 a year, somewhere around there. He left that money because he believed in himself that much.
Yeah.
And for him to have done that, and we followed him all the way through here. He came here. We did interviews with him. We followed him. I said, listen, let me just start filming you. My guys, they love you. They will film you, cost you nothing. Let's make some videos around what you're doing. And then the whole all-in thing happened. Dusty he would have been, I just can't even imagine. I really can't even imagine how light on his feet he would have been, and just walking on air, watching Cody do what he did, it was pretty amazing.
Jake, we don't know what to expect as you and I are recording this. We don't know what to expect for Cody next, but way back when in the old territory days, it was important to know when to leave. And Michael Hayes once told me, you always want to leave on top. And I was curious why he would say that. Like, to me, no, you want to ride it all the way out. And he cut me off and he said, no, you always want to make sure you've got a place to come back to. Absolutely. And that was some old school thinking that I hadn't quite wrapped my head around. But given all that happened in the development and launching and really the creation of AEW, and he was really the flag bearer for so long, he's made the decision now to leave, not once, but twice. WWE, that guaranteed situation where there was no AEW, there is no alternative, just cut your own path on your own. And now again, with something that he helped create, that sounds a little Jake the Snake Roberts. You knew when it was time to leave.
Yeah, but he's a businessman.
Right.
I never was. That's one of my faults and one of my regrets. Yeah.
What do you think or hope is next for Cody?
Whatever he wants. Whatever his heart desires that will allow him to be around his child as much as possible. I know what I missed over the years, being on the road all the time. Nobody should have to miss the things that I missed. Nobody. You know, kids growing up are the most important thing because they help keep you young. You know, you watch them enjoy the things that you did maybe 20 years before, but you get to taste some more of that. It feels good. I think it's important. Certainly a strong family base is so important these days. And that's my desire for him, you know, and Dustin, I hope, does whatever he wants to do. They certainly deserve the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. You know, they'll tell you, you know, you may have a job, but if you don't love it, you're going to work.
That's right.
I don't want to work, man. I want to do something that I dig, that's fun, that makes me feel like I've accomplished something, makes me feel like I've helped somebody out, contributed to mankind in some way. Maybe moved a pebble, a rock, or a boulder. Doesn't matter. I moved it. And that's when you accomplish things, man. My life's never been sweeter than it is right now, and I'm not wrestling. You know, and if somebody would have told me 20 years ago that I'd be doing what I'm doing right now, I'd have laughed in their damn face, man.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
It blows me away that I let myself become trapped, become watered down. I cheated myself, I cheated my fans, and I regret that. You know, I really do. I know I had to go through a lot of things to become who I am today, but man, those were some tough years I went through.
Yeah, but you're helping so many people now, dude.
Yeah.
You're helping so many people.
I get that. And I want to be that guy that helps people. That's why I want the Rhodes family to enjoy whatever they want.
You know, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the match that Cody and Dustin had.
Oh, Jesus.
At the very first AEW show that set the pace for the whole company.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that match was old school and new school.
Yep.
Mixed the way it needs to be mixed to really do something. Like Vince would have never given them that opportunity.
God, no.
You know, because he didn't believe in it. But he went out there and he proved it. And to me, it's the best match of the decade. And they're doing some really cool stuff. Like I said, some of the things I've seen, the match that those two guys had was, you know, the fans. And that's why I love the AEW fans. They remind me so much of the ECW fans, just different. But they were in it from the entrances to the finish. And those guys, it was blood, sweat, and tears, man, like for real. they just went out there and killed it.
They gutted it.
Gutted it. Exactly.
Hang it up on a hook, skin it. It's over.
Yeah. So I think Cody Rhodes, has proven himself over and over and over again. And to know that the last promo that he did in AEW, when he talked about all the things that, and I'm a Punk fan. I think Punk is amazing. But all the things that the people that he talked about and, the pipe, what do they call it?
The pipe bomb.
The pipe bomb. All the things he talked about in that, Cody did. And nobody could take that away from him. Wherever he goes and whatever he does, it'll be the best for his family. And it will be something that, I trust will satisfy him in his journey. Because he doesn't want to do this forever.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do this like me flying off the top turnbuckle 63. He might, but,
for
fun,
friggin' he wants to do other things too. But right now, he's in his prime. Can't be any more in his prime than he is right now. So,
well, I can't wait to see what's next for Cody. And I'm just excited to see what's next for the Rhodes family, because Dustin's not done. He's still got his fingerprints all over AEW. Jake, what do you think the Rhodes legacy will be in wrestling when it's all said and done and Cody and Dustin are hanging them up? What will it be?
Well, I hate to steal this line, but it's grand theft. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there'll ever be.
There's two families. And Cody made that real apparent. There's two families. It ain't just, the McMahons. There's the Rhodes, and made theirself. And in our movie Relentless, Cody talks about, our relationship and what we've gone through at the end. And he says, Dallas Page is a Rhodes, and I am, always have been. And just really excited to see what happens, because whatever it is, I know he's going to make the best of it. And right now he's in the best spot. And Dustin, he's still got a lot of gas in the tank.
Yes, he does.
So who knows what's going to happen? It'll be fun to watch. That's what I do know.
And we hope you guys think this show is fun to watch. This was a great episode today. Thank you guys for the time. And we're going to do it again next week. But if you want to hear from these guys in the meantime, Cameo is the place to do it, but not on the app. Do it on your computer or on your desktop or whatever. Jake, you're helping a lot of folks with Cameo these days, aren't you?
Yeah. And I dig it too. Really do. Just another way of getting things done.
Yeah, getting to communicate with the people.
Don't be afraid to talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's really like one-on-one stuff.
Reach out and help somebody. That's the whole thing.
All right, boys.
Check it out. Cameo.com. See you next week right here on DDP Snake Pit.